Morning, Anna. Didge. Morning. Item number one right away this morning is to try and figure out what's going on here with row number 3. It started planting a lot of doubles late last night, which means it was putting skips. It started planting a lot of skips, which means it was missing some of the seed placements. Birds, please. I'm making a video here. Coffee. Oh, once it hits your lips. There's a truck I didn't know was coming. Morning! You guys just gonna fill in the yard? You don't need me, do you? We checked everything out on the meter. Everything looks good, so we threw a new seal in the cover. The plate, or the bowl that I think they call it now. Everything looks good there. I've got some new pieces in the back in the boxes there to throw other new stuff in there if we need to. I'm gonna bring it home, throw it back on, and try it. And if it's still acting up, we're gonna get, there's a Deere mechanic just 5 miles down the road from us, so he's gonna head on over and check it out if things still aren't working correctly. Okay, we're all back together there. I'm gonna fire this beast up after I check the oil quick. Everything goes together and comes apart by hand. No tools required, so they make it pretty dang handy to get those meter units apart. I've got the planter unfolded now, and I'm going to run a simple row runoff procedure on row 3. That's the one we've been working on. What this will do is cycle a bunch of seeds through the meter and give me a readout to show me the accuracy of that row to see if it's performing the way it should or not. Oh, here's Dad. Morning. So there's my actual down there. 98.7, 98, 99 and a half, 99.6, 99.8, 99.9, 98, up and down, inconsistent. This is where it's coming from. It's getting skips. 2% skips, 3%, 0 multiples. Gotten a lot of questions about what the singulation means, and what that is just how singulated and how perfectly the seeds are being placed. So the overall population right now is supposed to be 32,800, which would be the overall population across the planter, but the singulation amongst the row units is shown right here. Singulation just means is every single seed being put the way it's supposed to. Sometimes you'll get a double where it will plant 2 seeds. Sometimes you get a skip where it skips a seed. We try and keep that around 99 to 100%, and row number 3 is hovering around 98%, which again, just, it doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but it's not right when the rest are all planting 99.5. Ron, I've got a brand new brush in the box. You think we switch that or flop it with a different row?
I'm gonna just swatch
rows?
Yep.
That pretty well concludes we've got a sensor issue, so you think it's planting fine?
I believe it is, because that's the only thing we switch now is the sensor.
Pretty simple little part. We can pull it out and put a new one in probably less than 1 minute without any tools required. Just one of those things, sensors go bad sometimes. New equipment, you gotta work out some bugs. I'm gonna continue planting at 9 to 10 miles per hour for a while while Ron finds himself a sensor. He'll be back out here, we'll throw that in, and then everything is golden again. 3 rounds later, and Ron's back with a sensor. Customer service right there. That's a thing of beauty right there. Got a little lower when I turn the camera on. Don't judge, there we go. There we go. Perfect. Look at that. No rows jumping out on this line. We are set. Let's rock. Oh, by the way, there's our speed. I just mentally struggle with trying to hit that 10 miles an hour. It does it without a problem, but it's just like, it's pretty fast. Hi, do you want to run some errands for me?
No, I We don't chew on electrical cords. Sure.
I need a camera battery for a Canon, so that'd be the gray ones.
Okay.
And then a GoPro one if there's one available. And then I need you to go to the shop and I need 16 little yellow hose pluggers for the planter. About 100 acres later, and we're ready to go. I got a crew here to put in a test plot right now. So what we're gonna do is compare 14 different hybrids to each other. We're gonna plant them all in 8-row strips across this field here. And then in the fall we'll come back and harvest and we'll compare them all to each other and come up with the results. Did you bring me some stuff?
We did.
We got important stuff? Oh, one-handed. So right now we are vacuuming out the row units here and I'm installing a plug that goes into these hoses so that the center tanks quit feeding seed to these, because we're gonna dump our test seed in each one of these individually, so we don't want the center seed to be fed into these units. The planter is loaded. Now I'm just gonna go in here, whoops, and I'm going to set our varieties and switch over to what we've got. So variety number 1 is a 192.08. Variety number 2 is 194.49. And we are planting variety number 1 on these 8 rows, variety number 2 on these 8 rows. Once we get down to this end, we'll switch to varieties 3 and 4. And then after that, you guessed it, we come back to this end and switch to 5 and 6. Thank you guys. Until next time, auf Wiedersehen. It was a test plot montage.
Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
So, before I back out of this, I was just minding my own business, planting some corn, headed through the field here, when all of a sudden, yeah, she got soft. I gotta say, honestly, I've never had this happen before, and this spot's never been here before, which is crazy because we're so dry right now. So I don't know what's going on. There is some tile in this area. It's possible we've got a broken tile, or else sometimes the flows of the water below the surface will just change a little bit. I don't know, that's weird. Yeah, that's not just gonna fall out of there. I'm gonna have to dig a little bit on those things. Those are full. Man, that is nuts. She just fell right in and pushed like crazy. Crazy stuff right there. At least it's not packed in there, I guess. That isn't bad. I thought it would dig harder than that. Things that make you go, And we may have a rain shower coming over there to the northwest.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
The planter just fell into the ground.
What do you mean fell into the ground?
I was just cruising along at 9-10 miles an hour and like it just hit a sinkhole, fell, like pushed mud right up to the frame and fell in. It was crazy.
Oh,
but I'm out, no damage.
everything's okay?
Yeah, but I got dirt on my hands.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, Tom. How do I turn the internal boundaries off on these 4400s?
Oh, it's shutting your planter off on them?
Yeah, because we got a spot that we threw tile in and there's not a boundary there anymore.
Okay, go hit the menu button.
Okay. That does it for this field.
You trying to call me?
This is a pretty big field, but even with a couple delays and a test plot in there, I've got about 170 acres down, so I'm gonna fold up, head over to the next field, and hopefully get out at least another 140 tonight. Yeah, 10-4 is just gonna let you know I'm done on the, well, now you're calling. Bluetooth. Hello. It's another day of getting all these little weird pop-up showers. We haven't had anything that's slowed us down yet, but it keeps hitting the windshield. It's out there. Next field. Mrs. Millennial Farmer just learned that the door's on the left side of the tractor.
Why are there stairs over there?
I suppose so you can wash the windows easier. I've got one side of the planter that's out of seed and one side that's got a little bit left in it. So Mrs. Millennial Farmer came, grabbed me here, and I've got some leftover plot seed bags in the back here I'm gonna toss in to even it out. We gotta get rid of some of that plot seed anyway, and we're just finishing up end rows yet. So we'll toss that in, even it out, and then I'll be right back home here again. Dad's gonna help me throw a box in there, then we'll keep going. Luckily, we're close to home. We're in. It's a Chevy. She's got it. You nervous? Sunshine, east. Not sunshine, west. Becky, I'm taking a video clip and you're just chatting away in the background. You're ruining it. Whew. Hi, Rhiannon. You didn't go anywhere?
Didn't go anywhere.
Come on in, seat cover. I can say seat cover, right? They use it in Smokey and the Bandit.
I guess so.
I think.
Although there's a lot of things they said in that movie that are not socially acceptable anymore.
All right, Mrs. Millennial Farmer.
Is it my time?
It's your time to go get the J&M LC 390 speed tender.
Okay, I need my phone charger back though.
Oh, okay. "10 feet. Yep. Whew, starting to get a little chilly out here.
Bye now.
Toodles. Let's see. Restroom. Oh, there we go. Hey, while I think of it here, guys, I want to mention, if you've watched a couple of my other videos, you've seen that I plan on donating $5,000 to the Farm Rescue Organization if I can hit 500,000 subscribers by May 5th. John Deere will also kick in $5,000, making that a total of 10. We're gonna donate regardless, but try to help me get there. And I've had a lot of people ask me, how can they personally donate? You can go to farmrescue.org and donate for yourself. I would encourage you to do that. It helps out farm families during times of crisis. John Deere actually works closely with that organization already. They do quite a bit together. Let's get them $10,000. Spread the word, get me some subscribers. You know, I mean, it's all in good fun. Must be a bum. Yeah, that guy doesn't look real safe. I don't know if I want him in here. We'll give him a chance. Randy, you got rained out?
I did.
And you thought you'd come check out the 8RX?
Yeah.
What do you think, Randy?
It's a long ways up here.
It is, yeah. It kind of feels like it sits high. I don't know if it does or not. It's got an extra step though, doesn't it?
It's definitely higher than the RTs.
It's a little weird staring out the front there too, huh?
Yep.
Yep. Randy, we rode around for quite a while and it's starting to look like my wife's not going to bring us pizza.
Yep. It's kind of like that time she was going to book us hotel rooms in Louisville.
Yeah, I remember that. But it was cool. There were some rooms in Tennessee that were open, so we just had to drive to the next state over. there goes my gopher trapping artist. Pretty sure he spent about 15 hours today on that four-wheeler running around the whole neighborhood with the neighbor boys. Sounds like they've got about 35 traps set, so they're on their way to big things. Alright, it's nighttime. It's peaceful out here. I've only got a few rounds left, so I'm going to go over just a few things on the monitor and show you guys some of the stuff that I really like inside this tractor and with the planter so far. One of the big differences that this planter has versus our planter, by the way, I'm driving a little slower right now. I'm only going 7 because there's a lot of really big buried rocks in this field. That can be a problem, and it's not my planter, or else I wouldn't drive this fast. So, the downforce on this planter, which is the amount of pressure that it puts on each row unit back there to push those row units into the ground and keep the seed at a consistent depth, is run individually on every single row hydraulically, and it adjusts about 60 times per second. That gives it the ability to seed more consistently as we go across the field here, so when it gets to spots where the soil is firmer or softer, it can adjust that automatically on the go 60 times per second in order to keep the wheels on the ground and keep that seed consistent. There's some different adjustments there to adjust the weight on those row units, and some gauges I can watch to make sure that I'm doing what I need to in order to give them the best ride possible, because the smoother the ride is, the better of a job of planting you're going to get. The other thing is the electric row shutoffs. They allow the shutoffs to be a lot more accurate and honestly just a lot more reliable because there's a lot less moving parts. That's the reason that I actually have to run the PTO on this planter. So the PTO runs an alternator off the back of the planter right here. That alternator provides the electric power for the electric row shutoffs on the planter, which I didn't realize either when I got in this planter and they told me I needed to turn the PTO on. I'm going, the PTO? These Gen 4 monitors in general, this is the one with the brains. That one down there, I believe, is just simply a display, but I can use it to control everything, or if I've got functions on that monitor that I want up here, I like that flip-flop button. It just simply flops the two screens. You can do everything up here, run all the tractor. This is the brains of this machine right now. So this is what I'm watching a lot here, my planter pages. I like how I can see my population right here. That's what I want to watch on this one. I've got it set right now to watch singulation on this one because I like watching singulation. That is, as I mentioned before, the amount of skips and doubles that you're getting, which is hopefully very, very little. Right now I'm actually planting some really, really tiny seed. For the farmers out there, this seed is 34 pounds per unit. This is tiny seed. It's difficult, really difficult to get good singulation out of that. Nonetheless, I'm getting pretty good singulation at 7 to 8 miles per hour. I'm happy enough with it. I'm not going to do any better than that. The gauge wheels here, the downforce, the ground contact, I can watch everything from up here, and I really do like these monitors a lot. Over here, Mobile Connect, I like this a lot. You can go through here and view a lot of different things. I'm not planting a variable rate at the moment, so actual population doesn't really matter. Okay, that's behind us. So I can see everything from up here in a colored map as to what's going on in the information here. I can see my ride quality. I can get a ground speed map. I can see the actual applied downforce. And interestingly enough, if you watch this applied downforce and the ground contact maps, you can literally see anywhere there's a tillage track. You can see where the rock picker drove across. You can see everything. It shows a lot, honestly. You can learn a lot by watching that all day long, and maybe learn about some of the sins in your field that are out there. You can sometimes see ruts from last fall from harvest just because the soil's harder there and it has to apply more downforce. I really do like this Mobile Connect app that they've got going on. It's a really handy thing to watch. I like that a lot. I do definitely wish that it was a 60-footer. We just didn't have the time to get a 60-footer here. The 40-footer was the one that was available, And we will have our planter out next week, I believe. We will still have this one here, but we are going to run our planter a little bit on beans. We're going to finish the corn off with this, switch it to beans, so we'll actually have 2 planters going on beans a little bit. But this 40-foot planter at the faster speeds is actually getting more done than our 60-foot planter when we drive 5.5 miles per hour. So we're covering just as many acres or more with a 40-foot planter. So it isn't bad. It's different to get used to a 40-foot planter again, especially turning on the ends. So I've got a 40-foot planter now, and I've got a tractor that is not an RT tractor. And we've had so many of those 2-track RT tractors for the last few years. That's what I'm used to turning on the ends with. Well, now I've got a smaller planter and I've got a tractor that doesn't turn as sharp. So it took some getting used to it again to really crank the tractor around and ride the brake a little bit and make sure that I make the turns that I need to, but we got it down. Now to the tractor. My initial thoughts here after being in this thing for, I don't know, 50 hours, I don't know how many hours, but a couple of days here. I'll start with the things that I don't like to this point. My number 1 complaint would be that at a certain speed, it's almost like the belts or the tracks get like a harmonic shake to them, like a vibration, a slight shudder, if you will, like from 6 to 7.5 miles per hour. They've got a little bit of an annoying shudder that just never goes away. And I wonder if you would put it on tillage instead of on a planter, if it was pulling harder, if that would go away, if it would make it worse. I don't know, but it's definitely there when you drive these faster speeds up over 8 miles an hour. It's not a problem. This thing is smooth as glass all day long. It's riding really nice, but it does have that, I swear it's like a harmonic shudder in the tracks right at that speed. One of the other things I'm not real fond of is it's got the E23 transmission, I believe is what they call it. So it's 23 speeds. It's like I would call it an updated power shift. For those of you who know the Deere tractors, it does not have the IVT transmission because it's 410 horsepower. My understanding is that Deere doesn't put that transmission in the higher horsepower tractors. You can get it in the 370, I'm pretty sure. So then you get what they call Pro Command, which is the same stick as the brand new combines have over here, with a lot of cool functions on the stick. That would be nice to have. That maybe is a downfall of this 410 once you get up to this level. But the transmission, I'm not going to say I don't like the transmission. What I've come to not like about it is when I run it in F1, which is the automatic mode, so that it runs a little more economical. The tractor can do its own thing. Once in a while it's a little jumpy, and like if it needs power and it's got a downshift, it slows way down before it can speed back up. And it's not something that would keep me from purchasing the machine, but it's noticeable. It's there, and it can be annoying, especially in the hills, which we don't have a lot of. But if you have a lot of steep hills, it would annoy me. Now, on to the good. As I mentioned, I love the Gen 4 displays. They're not difficult to grasp. They're very clean, very easy to use. I like the platform they're set up on. I like everything about these Gen 4 displays. Everything. Haven't had any issues with those. I like them. The cab, very, very roomy. Visibility is fantastic. These belts are set pretty wide. I believe they're at 120 inches. Visibility, particularly out the back here. I mean, you're looking right down at the ground, right behind the seat here. Everything up front here, easy to see. Everything's wide open. Visibility's fantastic. I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'3", and most of it's in my legs. More than enough room here. Plenty of room. This is a big cab. The buddy seat over here actually is bigger. That was one of the first things my wife commented on. Got a refrigerator over here for your important stuff. What else? What else? All the functions over here, pretty simple. Oh, somebody left their breakfast, lunch, and dinner in there. It does have the massaging chair, which is a little weird, but it's, you know, it's nice. It's nice. All the functions over here, heating and cooling, all that works really, really well. The radio up here, this radio is sweet. Bluetooth's right to my phone. Over here I can play whatever I want on my phone. I've got the radio over here. Oh, Can't have that for copyright reasons. We'll get rid of that. Come on, come on. We'll go back to media. You can do everything with that radio. Works really well. It's got the mirrors here. Better pause that. It's got the mirrors up here that you can adjust from inside the cab. The mirrors are really good. You've got the small one down here for a wider, like the fish lens effect. See some of the blind spots underneath. In fact, if somebody would clean those, they'd even be usable. Another thing I really like about this, you would think having 4 tracks like this with just the front ones turning that it would be a big turn radius. This thing turns on a dime. Even set out to 120 inches, this thing will whip right around. It's crazy. I mean, it's really, really surprising how tight this thing turns, and it doesn't ridge very much either for tracks. If you're sitting still and you turn it back and forth, it'll tear the ground up a little bit, but it turns pretty good. It's not bad. I'm actually really, really impressed with the turning. I forgot to bump my population back up. That's why I should quit messing with it. Just leave it alone. Another thing that's nice is you can see down there between everything going on in the hitch and everything over here with the tracks, getting to things on this tractor is really easy. The maintenance on it, for maintenance reasons, it's really nice. You can stand right between the track and the frame of the tractor. Makes it really easy to work on, and as I mentioned before, one of the other things I really like about it is that this baby is smooth and silent. It is very quiet in here. I almost forgot to mention the lights. Oh my gosh, the lights on this thing are unbelievable.
The speakers are pretty good too!
Well, I just learned one more fancy new feature here. If you leave the lights on and you open the door, it squeals at you to let you know, which is handy because I've killed a couple of batteries that way.